Hey, what is going on guys, Chris here and welcome to a new Destiny video. As you might know, there was a huge leak on the House of Wolves. All the new vendor gear and weapons were leaked. I decided to go ahead and make a video on all the new legendary weapons available from vendors. I originally did intend to make this one big video, however it would take way too long, therefore I've split it up. We're starting off with the Crucible weapons right now, and I will put up the Vanguard weapons later on today. There will be a link in the description once I put it up, as well as an annotation at the end of the video. I also do want to say that obviously this could all be changed. Maybe the perks are just placeholders, we don't know. However, I'm taking a look at the weapons and looking at the perks they have right now to see what I think about them, and hopefully they don't change too much about it. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. And the first one is the first Crucible auto rifle, and this is essentially like the Hexcaster arc we saw before, the Dark Below. Very unfortunate in my opinion that this one has such a high fire rate, so low impact. These guns are never really good. We can see the perks are Glass Half Full, Perfect Balance, Lightweight, Snapshot, and Life Support. Now, it's an okay perk set overall. The thing is just that the auto rifle as it is just terrible, and the base stability is so low that there's really nothing you can do, even with Perfect Balance. This is going to be a terrible gun. Don't even think about it. It's just not a good one. Luckily, the next auto rifle is a lot better as it looks. This one shares the frame from the Suro CGB-47, which I do quite like, but that is not really what's interesting. This one actually shares the same stats as something like the Shadow Price that we know and love. High impact, low fire rate for an auto rifle. This one has Persistence, Send It, Lightweight, Single Point Sling, and it looks like it's spray and play the last perk. Now the base stability is not very high unfortunately, which is really not very good. On any auto rifle you want as much stability as possible, but I think this one's going to be workable if you do really like these kind of weapons. But then again, this one is bought with Crucible marks, and if you want to have a high impact auto rifle, I'd probably go for the Vanquisher if they still keep that weapon at New Monarchy after the House of Wolves comes out. The hand cannon looks very interesting. The base stats look very similar to the Fall Will Probably Kill You, which is the one you can buy right now, but the perks are a lot better. Clown Cartridge is the first one, allowing you to have a slightly larger than normal magazine, not a very strong perk. The first perk in the middle perks here is Quick Draw, which is an okay perk, but Explosive Rounds and Perfect Balance are two great perks for any hand cannon really, so this one looks very strong. And the next one is Final Round. It could be the final round in the magazine deals more damage. It could also be a kill with the final round in the magazine will increase the reload speed. Either way, it's a really strong perk. Now this first pulse rifle from the Crucible has pretty high impact for a pulse rifle. Obviously pulse rifles are not really relevant right now, but we're just going to treat it like it is relevant because hopefully the pulse rifles will get a buff very soon. Now the first perk is Headseeker, where chaining body shots will improve the damage on your next headshot. This is a pretty strong perk, not the strongest one in the world, but it's definitely going to be useful. Then we have Hammerforged, Skip Rounds, and Snapshot. I think Snapshot and Hammerforged are the only real viable options right here. And then the last one is Full Auto. For a pulse rifle, this looks very, very strong. The stability is okay, it has very high range, you can put on Hammerforged, it has the Headseeker perk, it has Full Auto. I think if you're going to be using a pulse rifle, this one could be a very good option. The next pulse rifle actually also looks rather good. We have Grenadier, we have high caliber rounds, we have Send It and Snapshot, and then the last perk is Third Eye. This one is definitely more of a Crucible focused pulse rifle, so if you do like using pulse rifles in the Crucible, this one could be a very viable option. But as I said, pulse rifles are just sort of not very good at the moment, so unless they get a buff, just don't even think about any of the pulse rifles. Now moving on to the Scout rifles, there are some interesting ones. This one in particular has Mulligan, Field Scout, Send It, and Armor Piercing Rounds, and the final perk is Outlaw. Now Mulligan is not a very strong perk, but considering the max size is only 12, it could come in handy at times. Luckily, we also do have Field Scout, so you can buff that magazine size up to 27, and then Mulligan is basically just redundant. The other perks are Send It and Armor Piercing Rounds, and the last one is Outlaw. Overall, a pretty strong perk set. Unfortunately, the base stability is very, very low on this one, so it's not going to be viable for Crucible at all. And unfortunately, as the max size is very low, it basically makes Field Scout mandatory and makes especially Armor Piercing Rounds just not very viable for you because you just want more bullets. Outlaw, however, could change this, as precision kills will drastically speed up your reload speed, which is very good. But this next scout rifle definitely looks better in my opinion. The first perk is Take a Knee, improving accuracy while you're crouched. Then we have Field Scout again, we have Fitted Stock, and we have Armor Piercing Rounds, and the last perk is Grenadier. This is going to be very strong in PvE. Again, it's not going to be a very good PvP scout rifle due to the stability being quite low and the fire rate being very slow. But having the option to choose between Field Scout, Fitted Stock, and Armor Piercing Rounds is very strong. The magazine size is very decent at 19, and Grenadier is overall a great perk, especially for PvE. Even in PvP, the Grenadier perk is quite strong, but overall I don't think this is going to be a very strong PvP scout rifle. Moving on to the special weapons, we're starting off with the Fusion Rifle. This one has very low charge rate and very high impact, which is interesting, very similar to the trolley problem unfortunately, as it also has very low stability. That's very unfortunate, and looking at the perks, we have Performance Bonus, Accelerated Calls, Agility, and we have Armor Piercing Rounds, and the last perk is a final round based perk. This could be more damage, it's probably increased reload speed on the final kill though. Now, Armor Piercing Rounds on a Fusion Rifle is very interesting to me. I don't think I've ever seen that before, and it could be a lot of fun to use in PvE for taking down mobs, and it would make the overcharge bounty so much easier. However, for PvP, I don't see anything that would draw me towards this weapon. The stability is just way too low, the charge rate is too slow. Just nothing too great about this weapon, but for PvE, I definitely consider this gun. This next gun is the shotgun, and I'm definitely excited to see this. It is essentially the Invisible Hand M7 returning. The first perk is Grenadier, the next one is Field Scout, we can also choose Hammer Forged and Agility, and the last one is Crowd Control. All very strong perks. We can see that the fire rate is very fast, and if you pair up Hammer Forged with this, it is even gonna have pretty decent range. Add up Crowd Control and this could be an absolute monster for clearing out flags. Is it gonna be as strong as something like the Secret Handshake that you can buy right now from the Vanguard? Probably not, but it's definitely gonna be a very strong shotgun, and I'm looking forward to trying it out. The Sniper Rifle also looks extremely interesting here. We have Unflinching, we have Agility, Armor Piercing Rounds, Perfect Balance, and Grenadier. Overall, a very strong perk set. I love Unflinching on my snipers, as you will know if you watch my LDR review. Agility is a meh perk, but we have Armor Piercing Rounds and Perfect Balance, which are both going to be very useful perks. And also Grenadier, as I mentioned earlier, is a very strong perk. Unfortunately, it does have this very bulky side, but if the Ambush Scope is available, it's even going to buff the stability up. And Perfect Balance might not even be necessary, allowing us to use something like Armor Piercing Rounds all the time. I'm definitely looking forward to trying out this sniper. It looks very strong in my opinion, and I hope they don't change too much about it for sure. Now moving into the heavy weapons, we start off with the launcher, and I noticed immediately that the blast radius on this thing is maxed out at 100. That is insane, and I don't think I've seen any other launcher with this high of a blast radius. The perks are kinda meh. We have Unflinching, which is not that great. We have Quick Draw, which is okay. We have Javelin, and we also have Heavy Payload. Javelin is definitely going to be useful considering how low the velocity is. And then the last perk is Clown Cartridge, which will allow us to have 3 rockets in the tube, which is absolutely insane. It looks like a pretty strong launcher overall. Obviously, we do not have any tracking rounds whatsoever, but it definitely looks like it's going to be interesting to try this launcher out. And maximum blast radius, what can I say? And then we have the machine gun. Now, unfortunately, straight away I noticed this one does not have Field Scout. It does have some decent perks other than that though. We have Persistence, where firing it will make it more accurate over time. We also have Perfect Balance, we have Hammer Forged, we have Quick Draw, and we have Grenadier. It's a really good machine gun. The base stats are essentially like the Zombie Apocalypse, which I do really like. The fact that it doesn't have Field Scout drags it down a lot. It's not that the perks are bad, but Field Scout is just a must on any machine gun to make it truly amazing. And this one doesn't have it, unfortunately. But if you are looking for an arc machine gun, this one could be very good though. Even though it does not have that Field Scout perk, you can add up the stability and make it absolutely amazing in PvE, making an absolute laser beam. So definitely consider this if you do not have an arc machine gun already, which I think most people have by now. That is it for the video, guys. If you did enjoy, make sure you leave a like, comment, and if you're new, please feel free to subscribe and let me know which weapons you're excited to get. If you do want to see the video on Vanguard weapons, I will put an annotation on screen as soon as that is up, so you can click that, and you can also just go down in the link in the description below if you want to check it out. Until next time, peace out, guys.